The record is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking and pension needs, call or visit a Fidelity branch today. Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealership serving the Cayman Islands. And Cayman Pharmacy Group, with locations in West Base and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling Seaboard Marine at 949-4977.
Coming to you live from Radio Cayman Studio.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Hear from your government officials, independents, and the opposition on issues that matter to you. For the record. Engage in an open dialogue between residents and lawmakers.
For the record.
For the record. For the record. Informative, impartial, insightful.
This is your talk show.
1-800-534-8255. Your calls, your input. This is For the Record. And now, your host, Orrett Connors.
Good morning and welcome to For the Record. Today is Wednesday, the 12th day of December 2018. We're running out of 2018, so we'll soon have to stock up with 2019. Christmas is getting near, the New Year is getting near as well, and hopefully today, I know the traffic is pretty busy out there, but we will have a conversation with Dr. Steve Macfield. We want to reflect on what has transpired during the course of 2018 and some of the expectations for and projections for 2019. And we'd like you to join in the conversation. Tell us what you thought of 2018, any successes, any issues that you may have had in 2018, any observations, and what you look forward for in 2019 as well. I want to remind you that the roads out there are extremely busy this morning. They're also wet, so you want to drive cautiously, carefully, courteously as well. Observe all of the rules of the road. Remember, if it's raining, then your visibility is reduced, so you also want to reduce your speed. If the roads are wet, then you need to increase the distance between you and the vehicle in front of you, because you need more time to stop. If you have to stop suddenly, the roads are wet, and more than likely you're going to skid on the roads as well. So we urge you to be extremely, extremely careful out there. There's no place that you're heading to unless you're on an emergency service vehicle that is a life and death situation for you. So take your time out there. Consider other drivers, other road users as well. I want to thank you, our listening and viewing audience, for allowing Radio Cayman and, by extension, For the Record, into your homes, into your vehicles, as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. Sorry. I need not tell you that For the Record is a show produced by the staff and management of Radio Cayman, and it is geared towards keeping you abreast of issues as they arise and play out on the local, regional, and international scene. I am your host, Orrett Connors, and you're welcome to join me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 7:30 a.m. until 9:30 a.m. Our phone lines are always open. There is always someone there waiting to take your calls. Normally, that beautiful radio voice of Miss Susan Watson. You can call us on our toll-free number provided courtesy of Flow. That toll-free number is 1-800-534-8255. You can also call us on 949-8037 and 949-6990. If you don't like to talk on the telephone, you can email us at For the Record. That is one word, For the Record, at CANDW.KY. You can also WhatsApp us on 925-3261, where you can leave us a text message or send us a voice note. And of course, you can follow us on YouTube simply by subscribing to Radio Cayman live stream as well. So many ways we're going to have open line this morning until Dr. Steve McField gets here. I'm sure that he's probably caught in traffic because he's usually here on time, but I also have to admit to you that he's again coming on very short notice, as I only called him yesterday afternoon and spoke to him about appearing. I believe our negotiating team have returned from the United Kingdom, Premier and his entourage, as well as the leader of the opposition and his deputy as well. I believe that they should all be back by now, but it would not have been convenient to have any of them on this morning after that long flight, and I believe they should have arrived last night, barring any delays as well. So hopefully we will have on Friday the leader of the opposition here, and whatever he can tell us about those discussions in the UK. We will look forward to that. I'm sure that there will probably be a press release sometime in the near future as well in terms of what has occurred. Of course, there has been some debate. Some people are of the view that the people of the Cayman Islands should have known exactly what our government and the opposition were going to the UK to talk about. And I believe that they did give a pretty clear indication of those issues that they would be addressing in the UK. The Premier, in several of his announcements, including his address to the Legislative Assembly and the people of the Cayman Islands, basically said what they're wanting to do, what they wanted to discuss in the UK. And my view is that, yes, we can have public discussions about it, but you don't want to have too many public discussions too early, because that is where we end up with discord and disagreement. And again, not a good position to find yourself in when you're going to negotiate with the United Kingdom. So you get a general outline of what is going to be discussed, some of the issues that will be raised. And then once we get the substantive issues that we know these are exactly what we're looking forward to implementing in our constitution, what the UK has given, what the UK has said that they're not going to give to us, then that is where the public discussion comes in. And they have also promised that at the end of the day, the people of the Cayman Islands will have some say in those issues, whether it is through a referendum or whether it is through their representatives, elected representatives in our Legislative Assembly. I am not of the view that there is anything so critical in these negotiations that will warrant the need for a referendum. But that is only my view. The views of others may be different. Switch gears and talk about our neighbor, Jamaica. Those of you who like politics and history, the former Prime Minister of Jamaica, the longest serving Prime Minister of Jamaica, Honorable P.J. Patterson, has written a book called My Political Journey. It is due to be released sometime this week. We haven't had a specific date. I've been, ever since last week, trying to determine when it will be released. If you follow the news in Jamaica, and if you read the Jamaica Gleaner online, they are doing excerpts from P.J. Patterson's book, My Political Journey. I think up until yesterday, it was excerpt number 7 that was there. And if you want to read some intriguing political history, that's a book that you may want to read. And if it comes out before Christmas, which we hope it does, it may make an excellent Christmas gift for someone. I know my good friend TC, sorry, I mean TJ. Where did I get TJ from? TC is trying to locate it. He's been in contact with someone in Jamaica for me, and as soon as it is out, he's hoping to get it for me. But like I said, it will be a nice Christmas gift for someone who has an interest in political history, in the politics of Jamaica. My Political Journey by P.J. Patterson in Jamaica. So that should make for excellent reading. And as a matter of fact, in reading that prompted me to do some additional research yesterday. As a result of that, I didn't go to play dominoes because I sat in front of the computer up until about 11:30 last night, just reading various things and reading back again about the Federation of the West Indies. Dr. McFeel and I yesterday, we were talking about various subjects, and we always talk about the British West Indies Act 1962. And how that provided that was the document that effectively paved the way for independence for those colonies of the United Kingdom. And that prompted me to continue to read further and to go into the document, the bill that first of all created the Federation of the West Indies, and then also the West Indies Act 1962, and then I did some research on some other issues as well. The Act of 1863, where the Cayman Islands were then. And this is important. This is very important. We always talk about Cayman and the Turks and Caicos Islands being linked to Jamaica when they were when Jamaica was a colony, and of course we were a colony then, and we're still a colony now. Mr. Mick Hurlston will tell you we're still a colony. Never mind what name we may apply to it, overseas territories or whatever, we're still a colony of the United Kingdom, and that is correct as well. But in the debates, this term was used, right? The Cayman Islands were administered as if they were a part of Jamaica. So we were administered. We were not a part of Jamaica. We were administered as if we were a part of Jamaica. And on the other hand, the Turks and Caicos Islands were, in the words of the Order in Council in 1873, annexed to and formed part of Jamaica. So we were administered as if we were a part of Jamaica. We were not actually a part of Jamaica, but we were administered as if we were a part of Jamaica. That means that the Jamaica legislature, to a certain extent, legislated for the Cayman Islands, and the governor of Jamaica was also in charge of the governor of the governor of Jamaica was also responsible for the Cayman Islands, while the Turks and Caicos Islands were annexed and formed a part of Jamaica, and that had to do, those had to do with the acts of in the case of the Cayman Islands, the Act of 1863, and in the case of Turks and Caicos Islands, the Act of 1873. There was also some other interesting reading in relation to the colonies, and in particular the Turks and Caicos Islands as well, and I will share some more of that with you after we return from this short commercial break. So please stay tuned. A little bit of political history about the Cayman Islands, Turks and Caicos Islands, Federation of the West Indies Federation as well. And, of course, anything that you may want to talk about as well. I have a WhatsApp here that I will read now. And then when I return, I will share that with you as well. So please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
The Cayman Islands boasts of a long, colorful, and rich history. In tribute to our roots, Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands, is pleased to bring you the Historical Vignette Series, sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs. The Cayman Islands, he hath founded it upon the seas.
Ms. M. Forbes, J.P., 1910 to 1989. Ms. Forbes operated a store in Savannah for H.O. Marin and Company for many years. He was a great source of help to the community in hard times. On leaving Savannah, he opened a restaurant and a guest house in Georgetown. He was married twice and was the father of one child. He served as a vestryman and a justice of the peace and was a very devout man.
Radio Cayman's historical facts vignettes are proudly brought to you by Cayman National, with branches on all 3 Cayman Islands. Visit Cayman National Bank today for all of your financial needs.
It's more than what we do, it's who we are. We were your official bank of the quincentennial celebrations in 2003. We were your Bank of the Year 4 times. We were voted as the inaugural top employer in 2010. We were the inaugural Business of the Year awardee in 2017. Who are we? We are Cayman National, your local bank, proudly serving you for over 40 years. It's because of you that our journey continues.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show, or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
You need Fidelity Health. At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier, payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
Retain your peace of mind by installing a reliable generator, knowing that your family is safe and secure during a power outage. At Corporate Electric, we care about the well-being of our customers and their loved ones. We are the official distributor of Kohler SDMO generators in the Cayman Islands and can conduct a free assessment of your house to suggest the perfect fit. Call us at 946-2277. Visit our website or the Facebook page for more details.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the record, with your host, Orrett Connors.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. No guests in the studio this morning. We're hoping to have Dr. Steve MacPhail with us. We know that the roads out there are pretty busy this morning, and they're also a little bit treacherous because of the rain. So the roads are wet. And again, we're urging you to be extremely courteous, cautious, careful when driving out there as well. One of our listeners has written in and said, "Good morning, OC. While we welcome the Honourable Premier and his entourage back from the United Kingdom, the Prime Minister, that is the Prime Minister in the UK, is facing a vote of no confidence today. That is within her own party. And if it is successful, or a future such vote is successful, what then is the real value of the relevant constitutional modernization talks? A new prime minister could mean a new cabinet, which could make any agreement null and void. I have a funny feeling that if this vote of no confidence is successful in the UK against the Prime Minister Theresa May, that it is quite possible that she may call fresh elections rather than seeing a leadership change within the Conservative Party. I think it would be probably in the UK's best interest to call fresh elections. That would, I believe, help to delay the whole Brexit issue as well if they were called. And there's a good possibility that new elections, it's not far-fetched, but it is possible that they could have elections this year still. December isn't out yet, or in early January. But the caller's question in relation to that, always remember in the UK that while governments change, just like here in the Cayman Islands and most parliamentary democracies, while governments change, the civil service basically remains in place. And those ministers, while they may have policy positions and everything else, they're always guided by what the technocrats, the civil servants, tell them. So you will, irrespective of which government is in place, you're going to have persons like Ian Henry. I'm not sure if Susan Dixon is involved in these, but those are the people that you will have sitting around the negotiating table. I believe, yes, that if there is Labour government as opposed to Conservative government, then what one is likely to want to give over the other one may be slightly different. I believe that the views, for instance, if there was a Labour government in place, that they would be pushing much harder in terms of the whole issue of civil partnerships or same-sex marriages, that they would be pushing harder for that. And we know that there are those in the Labour Party, one in particular who was a former minister for the overseas territories, is quite a proponent of that. So we could see pressures coming from a Labour government in that regard as well. But I don't think that anything is likely to change considerably in this regard as far as the constitutional negotiations are concerned, even if there's a change in government. I believe that any government coming into place would be almost, if not, certainly not legally obligated, but morally obligated to continue with the talks with the overseas territories, not only the Cayman Islands, but British Virgin Islands, Turks and Caicos Islands, all of those who are seeking for amendments to their constitution, that there would be an obligation to continue with those discussions. The other question would be, will there be another Brexit vote as well? We have seen the legal opinions in relation to that also. So that is all possible. But what is interesting, though, in my readings, so I want to thank that listener for that. In my readings yesterday, I had the opportunity to look up two bills, a bill, the Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos Islands bill. That was in 1958. One was debated in the House of Commons. It was debated on the 21st of January, 1958. And in the House of Lords, the bill was debated on the 11th of February, 1958. Now, this, of course, is the time when the Federation of the West Indies was in place. Jamaica and all of those other countries, but Jamaica in particular, because Jamaica has the connection with the Cayman Islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands. So new laws had to be put in place to address the situation of the Cayman Islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands. And of course, you would know that neither the Turks and Caicos Islands nor the Cayman Islands had any representation on the legislature that was put in place for the Federation of the West Indies. Because while you had the local governments, you also had a federal government for the Federation of the West Indies. We had no representation on that. So the United Kingdom government, because of the fact that at that time Turks and Caicos were still grant-aided by the UK, and I shouldn't say surprisingly, but proudly, the Cayman Islands at that time, we were not grant-aided. We hadn't received any grants from the United Kingdom at that point in time. But this bill was designed to clarify the relationship between Turks and Caicos and the Cayman Islands and Jamaica vis-a-vis the Federation of the West Indies. So that was in 1958, because I think 1956, between 1956 and 1958 is when the Federation of the West Indies came into existence. But in reading those debates in the House of Lords and the House of Commons, it was first of all, they bigged up the Cayman Islands, what we were doing. They talk about the fact that we were, so much more advanced, mainly, and I want you all to listen to this because we continue to hammer it home. They spoke favorably about our seafarers, or men who went to sea, and the remittances sent back to the Cayman Islands that put us on our footing, that put us in a situation where we did not need that much or any grant aids from the United Kingdom. Yes, we may have needed them for capital projects like our airport. I think at one point in time there was a £50,000 grant, and then of course there was $150,000 in later on for the new runaway, and that came up to really 200 and something thousand pounds. The UK gave us a certain amount, and then we had to repay them a certain amount as well. But they spoke so highly about the Cayman Islands, about the remittances, about our tourism industry. When you read those debates, you see their concern about continuing the vibrancy of the Cayman Islands economy, what the United Kingdom government could do to ensure that prosperity continued. They asked questions about the mosquitoes in the Cayman Islands. What was from the minister responsible, what was the United Kingdom doing in relation to addressing the whole issue of mosquitoes, because addressing that issue was so vital to our tourism product and everything. And that was a stark difference between the approach that the United Kingdom has taken in relation to its overseas territories now and the approach that those parliamentarians had. They had no qualms about ensuring that if money was needed, that it should be voted, and it should be they should ensure that the overseas territories, the colonies, got it. In this case, specifically the Cayman Islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands. They had no qualms about it. And I sat there and I read this and I said, just look at the dichotomy. Look at what's happening now. They're pressuring us. They're putting pressure through the OECD on our financial services industry and everything, doing everything, it appears, as if to keep us down. Whereas in 1958, they were looking to lift us up. They were prepared to give us any sort of political entity, political connection that we wanted. They were prepared to give it to us. Unfortunately, in the 1950s, we didn't have that many Caymanian politicians who were looking to take us in another direction. We had a few, but not a whole lot of them who were prepared to take us in the other direction. So again, opportunity missed. But the stark difference between the approach that parliamentarians took in the UK in 1958 and the approach that the United Kingdom government is taking now towards its colonies, there's such a stark difference. So I want to give you some more information on this because I want to encourage those of you who have an interest in it. Do some research, read up on these things. Please stay tuned. We reach the top of the hour, 8 o'clock news. When we return, the conversation will continue and we will have open line for you as well.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. And studio time now is 8 o'clock and brought to you by Price Right.
Price Right is Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore, making your dollar go further with huge savings and no membership fees. Get more of the things you use every day at the right price. But it's not just grocery and health and beauty. Price Right has a full range of products from office to automotive, patio furnishings to kitchen appliances, and even electronics. And since warehouse prices mean savings for you, everything is priced right at Price Right, Grand Cayman's warehouse shopping superstore.
Access information. Your community. News and information. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
With your latest news, I'm Carsley Fuller. More than 30 Caymanian students meet with His Excellency the Governor Martin Roper, along with the Premier and his delegation on Saturday at the annual student reception at the Cayman Islands government offices in London. The reception featured a Caribbean buffet, and the Premier offered up updates on the delegation visit to the UK and current affairs and latest happenings from the Cayman Islands. Giovanni Ebanks attended the reception.
The reception was amazing. When you're away from home and you're so far away, any moment that you can run in with another Caymanian is very special. And so for the Premier to do an event every single year for students, it means a lot to the students, and it was truly a fun event.
For over 10 years, the reception has offered a chance for students studying in the UK to meet with fellow students and Cayman Islands government officials. And Cayman's real estate market is certainly active right now. Radio Cayman's April Cummings takes a look at the numbers.
High season for the tourism industry generally is high season for real estate. People visit, fall in love with the Cayman Islands, and then they search for a home or investment property. As of December 11th, there are over 1,400 active listings on the Sariba MLS, valued at $1.8 billion. The majority are residential, with 783 active listings at an average list price of $1.4 million. While we've seen properties moving more quickly in recent times, the average time a property sits on the market is still well over a year at 490 days on average. Next on the list, land, with an average list price of $820,000 and more than 1,600 listings in the Sariba MLS. The average market time for land, just over 850 days. April Cummings, Radio Cayman News.
In regional news, Americans across a wintry continent have been viewing a major national television advertising campaign promoting the warm welcome awaiting them in the U.S. Virgin Islands. The 6-week campaign, which showcases elements of the Real Nice campaign, highlights mid-range hotels on St. Thomas, including Belongo Bay Beach Resort, Emerald Beach Resort, Lindbergh Bay Hotel, and Via's Mafoyle Hotel and Restaurant, Point Pleasant Resort, Secret Harbor Beach Resort, and Windward Passage. The campaign will next shift its focus toward accommodations on St. Croix, which has received strong social media exposure in recent weeks through the Off the Beaten Path Destination series. The video posts will be complemented by photographs depicting the beauty of the destination. For added authenticity, local photographers, influencers, and visitors are being invited to submit their messages. Last week, the department announced its support of the territory's private sector partners with a relaunch of a $3 million marketing campaign to stimulate travel to St. Croix, St. John, and St. Thomas in the coming months. The highly anticipated Real Nice campaign was on hiatus during fiscal year 2017-18 due to the devastating impacts of Hurricanes Irma and Maria. Now with a check of international news, here's the BBC, who will take us out of the newscast. I'm Carsley Fuller from Radio Cayman's newsroom.
BBC News with Neil Nunes. The British Prime Minister Theresa May has refused to rule out leaving the EU without a deal as she fights to hold on to her leadership. In a rowdy session of Parliament ahead of a no-confidence vote by her own Conservative Party, Mrs May faced scathing criticism of her handling of Brexit and opposition calls to resign. A French anti-terrorist prosecutor has said the gunman who shot dead 3 people in Strasbourg on Tuesday evening shouted "God is great" in Arabic as he opened fire. The suspect, named by police as Sharif Shakat, is believed to have been injured and is still on the run. 4 of his known associates were arrested overnight. Turkey says it'll launch a military operation within days against U.S.-backed Kurdish fighters in northern Syria. Turkey regards the Syrian Kurdish forces known as the YPG as being closely linked to Kurdish guerrillas who fight in Turkish territory. President John Magufuli of Tanzania has signed an agreement for the construction of a controversial hydroelectric power project in the Selous Game Reserve, a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Conservationists have warned that the project would cause irreversible damage to the wildlife habitat. BBC News.
Access and information. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Matt Brown and Rita Estevanovich star in the Cayman Christmas Comedy Show. A gift from the CNCF to you. Yay! Christmas comedy show. I am excited.
Well, I don't want to see it.
Too bad. You're in it.
Me in a show?
It's the bestest, most festivus Christmas show ever. Coming to your district between December 11th to 16th. Visit Facebook/Cayman Culture for all the details. Yes, I am going. Definitely I am going.
You can hear another CI Retro Talk Today special presentation on Friday at 12:15 p.m. when we take a look back at Cayman Islands' Christmas celebrations and traditions through the years, going back some 150 years through present day. This special CI Retro Talk Today presentation is being brought to you by Four Winds Esso, Enterprise City, and FSH Designs. CI Retro Talk Today, Christmas Remembered Through the Years, Friday, 12:15 p.m. on Radio Cayman.
'Tis the season to be jolly, and Kirk Freeport is spreading holiday cheer for the whole family. Join us on December 15th from 4 to 7 p.m. for the annual Christmas on Cardinal event. Festivities will include music, refreshments, face painting, cotton candy, cookie decorating, fireworks, and more. Bring the whole family and don't miss your chance to see Santa. Kirk Freeport's annual Christmas on Cardinal event, December 15th from 4 to 7 p.m. on Cardinal Avenue in Georgetown. Merry Christmas from everyone at Kirk Freeport.
At KFC, we believe you don't have to share a last name to be a family. Whether it's an office party, holiday fete, or family gathering, enjoy KFC's fresh hand-breaded finger-licking good chicken. The KFC Festive Feast includes 10 pieces of original recipe or spicy chicken, creamy mashed potatoes, tasty coleslaw, and warm biscuits. KFC's holiday catering menu includes buckets of hot wings, sweet chili wings, or chicken tenders. KFC, it's finger-licking good.
The facts on domestic violence are widely misunderstood. According to the Center for Disease Control, Harvard University, and many academic studies, men and women are equal victims in domestic violence. Even more understood is that in 2/3 of domestic violence incidents, women hit first. It's time to change the narrative. Remember, a healthy relationship will never require you to sacrifice your friends, your dreams, or your dignity. Stop the slap, stop the cycle, stop the violence.
The Stop the Slap campaign has been proudly sponsored by Cayman National Bank. Stop the slap. Stop the cycle. Stop the violence.
I need a bank that is convenient for me.
What do you mean?
I need a bank that has easy-to-find locations and plenty ATMs when I need cash on the go.
Oh, well, that's easy. You need to bank with Cayman National. They have 7 customer service centers and 23 ATM locations. The newest one is at the East End Post Office, and I hear there's more to come.
Well, sounds like I need to bank with Cayman National Bank, the convenient bank, because they seem to be everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. Cayman National is everywhere. Surely they are Cayman's convenient bank.
Cayman National Bank. We're here for you.
In financial news, global shares rose today amid hopes for progress in U.S.-Chinese trade talks. Keeping score, France's CAC 40 edged up 0.9% to 4,849 in early trading, while Germany's DAX added 0.7% to 10,850. Britain's FTSE 100 was up 0.5 percentage point to 6,837. U.S. shares were set to drift higher, with Dow futures rising 0.4% to 24,528. S&P 500 futures rose 0.4% to 2,650. Looking at Asia's day, Japan's benchmark Nikkei 225 jumped 2.2% to finish at 21,602. South Korea's Kospi was up 1.4% at 2,082. Hong Kong's Hang Seng added 1.6% to 26,186, while the Shanghai Composite Index rose 0.3% to 2,602. In energy, benchmark U.S. crude oil gained 41 cents to $52.06 a barrel in electronic trading on the New York Mercantile Exchange. It rose 65 cents to settle at $51.65 per barrel on Tuesday. Brent crude, the international standard, gained 33 cents to $60.53 per barrel. And in currencies, the dollar rose to 113.43 yen from 113.08 late Tuesday. The euro slipped to 1.1324 from 1.1384.
Going back to the brack again.
Look, I can't afford to miss this one. The Sport Bay Committee presents the second annual Sport Bay Christmas Homecoming, December 15th through the 25th.
It's a place called Christmas Island.
Featuring 3 days of traditional Cayman Brack Christmas festivities, including live music by district musicians, home decorating contest, children's party, homecoming party, carol service, seniors gift distribution, singspiration, old-time kitchen dance, and fireworks to close off the year. For more information on dates and locations, call 925-3250. The Sport Bay Christmas Homecoming, December 15th through the 25th. It's time to come on home to the Brack again.
Going back to the Brack again.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Good morning. Time now for the latest weather report. Current temperature is 78 degrees. Relative humidity is 85%. Barometric pressure 30.07 inches and rising. The wind is out of the northeast at 15 knots. Overnight low temperature was 71 degrees. Synopsis indicate isolated showers along with fresh east to northeast winds and rough seas are expected across the Cayman area for the next 24 hours as a stationary front lingers over the Cayman area and its associated high-pressure system to build over the southeast United States. Now, the front is expected to retrogress north of the Cayman area this evening, and radar images show scattered showers in and around the Cayman area moving towards the southwest. Now, the forecast for the Cayman Islands for today, calling for partly cloudy to cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the low 80s. Today, your winds will be east to northeast, 15 to 20 knots. Seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. A small craft warning is in effect. And the forecast for tonight, calling for partly cloudy skies with a 30% chance of showers, and temperatures will be in the low 70s tonight. Your winds will be east to northeast, 15 to 20 knots, and seas will be rough with wave heights of 4 to 6 feet. Small craft warning remains in effect for tonight as well. High tide will be this afternoon at 1:31 and a low tide tonight at 8:20. The sun will set this evening at 5:48 and will rise tomorrow morning at 6:51. And the outlook is calling for a decrease in wind speed and also seas from Thursday afternoon as the high-pressure system moves over the western Atlantic Ocean on weekends. Further north, another cold front is expected to move over the extreme northwest Caribbean by Friday morning. That's the very latest on your weather report.
Your weather update after 8 is brought to you by Brand Source Home Gallery, creating elegant bathrooms with European-style fixtures and fittings.
Brandsource Home Gallery has been appointed the exclusive Cayman supplier for Duravit bathroom products. Duravit is the leading international manufacturer of bathroom ceramics, tubs, and showers, recognized around the world for beautiful, functional products. Winner of top industry awards, Duravit collaborates with leading European designers to provide the most elegant and innovative bath products. If you're ready to bring style, comfort, and innovation to your bathroom, visit Brandsource Home Gallery to see the new Duravit showroom and meet the in-house bath designer. Whether you're planning a functional family bathroom or a personal spa retreat, browse the Duravit collection and be inspired. Brandsource Home Gallery, delivering a new standard in custom designed bathrooms. Brandsource Home Gallery, Dorsey Drive, Industrial Park.
Good morning once again, and heavy traffic coming from the east on Shamrock Road and also on the Linford Pearson Highway. I feel for you this morning. Expect some slight delays as you head on down to Georgetown. Coming off Bobby Thompson Way, traffic flowing moderately, and steady traffic as well on Cool Road and some sections of Cool Road a little busier. On Edward Street in front of the Georgetown Post Office, traffic is light to moderate, as well as in and out of Georgetown. Traffic light to moderate on Shen Road. And on the West Bay Road in front of the Ritz, traffic is moderate in both directions. And coming from the West Bay four-way stop, little moderate flow of traffic. And Godfrey Nixon Way and Eastern Avenue, traffic is flowing moderately. North Sound Road, no issues there. As traffic looking pretty good. It's moderate. Light traffic on Old Roberts Drive. And that's the very latest on your traffic. And remember, when you see a school bus with lights flashing red and a stop sign, stop means stop. Have a good morning. Drive safe, Cayman Islands.
It's a massive decision.
It's a massive decision.
The cruise port is the most expensive capital works project in our history,
with huge social, environmental, and economic effects.
The cost will be borne by this generation
and the next.
It's time for the people of Cayman to have a say.
To be included and empowered.
And to make an informed choice.
The wrong decision will always cost more than we can afford to pay.
We have a chance to be united.
As a people, as a country.
For our heritage, for our environment, and for our tourism.
Get your answers.
It's your constitutional right.
Sign the petition, support the referendum.
Support the referendum, and let's build our future together.
Stay connected and enjoy your favorite holiday moments with Flow. Make Christmas memories great with the best phones at amazing holiday prices. Get the Samsung Galaxy A8 from $43.25 a month or the S9 from $70.75 a month from Flow. Sign up for Flow Quad Play to share up to 50 gigs of data and 5,000 calling minutes. It's amazing value and great gifts for loved ones or yourself. Plus, plenty of chances to win Flow holiday prizes. So make it Flow for everything mobile this Christmas. Visit discoverflow.ky for more. Terms and conditions apply.
JN Money Christmas link up par with your family. Time for your fix up. JN Money Christmas link up par with your family. Time for your fix up.
Win a family vacation and link up with your family in Jamaica, or send for them with JN Money Christmas link up. From now until December 31st, just send or receive money for an instant entry. Win a round trip airfare for one, a family dinner, and a day at a theme park. Weekly spot prizes included. Call 345-945-2014 for details. Available at JN Money locations across the Cayman Islands.
You're invited to the opening of the Coat of Arms exhibition on Saturday, the 15th of December from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Cayman Islands National Museum on the waterfront. Come out to celebrate Cayman and 60 years of our Coat of Arms with local food, traditional crafts, festive fun, and entertainment. Show your Caymanian pride and help us to commemorate this milestone with this historic exhibition. Saturday, the 15th of December, starting at 10 a.m. Visit celebratecayman.ky for more information.
One of Cayman's local football clubs picks up a professional coach taking its dedication to developing the next generation of footballers to new heights. Academy Sports Club has hired Ipswich Town FC's Ben Pugh, the lead youth development phase coach there with over 12 years in youth football coaching. For more information about Academy Sports Club's youth programs, you can call 925-5032. Jamaican Minister of Culture, Gender, Entertainment and Sport Olivia Grange has likened West Indies cricket to an element of cultural heritage that is in danger and in need of protection. She made the comment at the St. Catherine Cricket Association award ceremony, where she expressed satisfaction that the local cricket program, quote, was at a good place, but she said she was concerned about regional cricket following a string of poor performances by the West Indies team, including their recent poor performance against Bangladesh. Bangladesh completed a series sweep against the West Indies in the recent two-test series, each time defeating the Windies within 3 days. She drew a contrast between the performance of the men's team and the women's team. West Indies women were a force to be reckoned with in the recent T20 World Cup, where they went to the semifinals before falling to the eventual champions Australia. The sports minister said it is now urgent for all stakeholders in West Indies cricket to come together to protect the people's game.
Initiating system. For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connors, continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. I have the pleasure of having in the studio with me now none other than Dr. Steve McPhail, who I told you that he would be here despite the short notice that I gave him yesterday, and we wanted to talk about 2018 here in the Cayman Islands, what has transpired, and what we expectations and what we can look forward to in the upcoming 2019. So, Dr. McPhail, good morning. Welcome to For the Record. Glad you could make it in.
Good morning, and thank you for asking me. I thought that I was being a little late, so I decided I would come during the break.
Right. Okay.
During the 8 o'clock news break, and I'm glad you asked me because there's so many things to discuss. And you were telling me about you was up all night last night, and you were a real scholar. I think you should. You should try to get back into a university.
I really, I've always said that one of the things that I'm intrigued by the law, and I would like to do law, not to practice, but simply to, to go in a classroom and learn some more about it. I think that would be a good thing to do, on my bucket list.
You could do it in probably 2 years and stay in the tree.
Mm-hmm.
And you were telling me about the House of Lords debate on 11th February 58. And House of Commons debate, and and this is the first time I've heard about it. You're telling about the Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos Islands bill that was passed in those days. Can you share that with your listeners on the air, because that's very, very important.
Yep. Well, and this here that I'll read now will help everyone to understand, because I try to explain it in layman terms, but I'm not the best at explaining things. This is from the House of Lords debate on 11th of February. This would have come after the House of Commons debate on the 21st of January 1958. And the Earl of Perth, he says here, "My lords, I feel that I owe you an apology. You are hearing me a great deal this afternoon, but it is just an accident of events that there happens to be two bills on colonial matters to be dealt with today. This bill, I think, is less difficult to understand. And again, I hope that it will not be a controversial issue. One, its purpose is simple. It is to separate the Turks and Caicos Islands from Jamaica and to make fresh provisions for the government of these islands. And for that of the Cayman Islands, I might explain to you, to your lordships, that the Cayman Islands do not have to be formally separated from Jamaica." This is interesting. Mm-hmm. They do not have to be formally separated from Jamaica, for by the Act of 1863, they are administered, quote, "as if they were a part of," close of quote, Jamaica. Mm-hmm. So that we were administered as if we were a part of Jamaica, not that we were a part, but as if we were a part of Jamaica. On the other hand, the Turks and Caicos Islands were, in the words of the Order in Council in 1873, annexed to and formed a part of Jamaica. So Turks and Caicos were annexed and formed a part of Jamaica. We were administered as if we were a part. Then he goes on to say, "Let me give your lordships a word on the history of the islands. The Cayman Islands are a group of about 200 miles north of Jamaica. They have been British for nearly 300 years. Their population is about 9,000. This is in 1958. Mm-hmm. Most of them are of European origin. Many of them originally came to the islands as shipwrecked pirates who decided to settle there, or as marooned mariners. Curiously enough, the sea has remained in their blood, so that today the main occupation of the islanders is to provide seamen for ships. And then, of course, this Lord Silkin, I don't know if you heard of him before, Lord Silkin said,
yes.
Not pirates. You know, of course,
yes.
You know, being sarcastic. Then the Earl of Perth goes on to say, although the main revenues of the people is the seamen's remittances, this is the Cayman Islands now, there are two other sources of wealth, turtles and tourists. Though these are not of great importance, the islands have always faced the danger of hurricanes. They are governed by a commissioner appointed by the governor of Jamaica, and the local legislature consists of justices and vestrymen. And then he goes on to talk about the Turks and Caicos Islands. And then he says here, the governor of Jamaica has been responsible for the administration of both of these groups of islands, and a convention has been developed by which Jamaican legislation does not apply to them unless the islanders so wish. In practice, the administration and technical aid given by Jamaica has been of the greatest help, because these groups of islands cannot themselves provide the necessary staff, whether for roads or accounting or what you will. I should like to say here now how grateful we are for the services which Jamaica has so readily offered. I am glad further to say that the new arrangements proposed for administering the islands will not interfere with the continuance of this help from Jamaica. The islands will, in fact, be part of the Federation of the West Indies. But while no provision has been made for their representation in the federal legislature, generally it is not contemplated that the federal laws will apply in the islands unless the commissioner of the islands have been first consulted. Goes on to say the arrangements outlined in this bill are put forward with the approval of all concerned, and on the appointed day an order in council will be made. It will provide for increased local autonomy in constitutions which have not yet been settled, but it will be in the usual form of having legislative bodies containing ex officio and nominated members, as well as members elected by universal adult suffrage, And there will be an executive council which the commissioner will normally consult. In addition, and most important, the islands will remain administratively linked with Jamaica. It will be for the federal government to decide what portion of the block grant in aid given by Her Majesty's government to the Federation may be distributed to the Turks and Caicos and the Cayman Islands, although at present the Cayman Islands have no grant in aid. The reason we weren't having grant in aid because the remittances, we had monies because our seamen were sending money. The eligibility for both groups of islands for a Commonwealth Development and Welfare Fund will not be altered. So this is setting the stage for a 1958 Constitution.
Yes.
But at the same time, because the Federation of the West Indies had been created and Jamaica was a part of it, then what the UK then had to do was its colonies, its additional colonies, Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos, they had to make arrangements for them. And then in the debate, it goes on there, they show a lot of concern to say, well, they were giving this block grant to the Federation for 5 years. It would be reviewed after 5 years. Mm-hmm. So for 5 years, the Turks and Caicos Islands and the Cayman Islands would have to rely on the federal government of the Federation of the West Indies giving that money to us. And the UK parliamentarians had an issue with that because they said, what if they don't give them the amount of money that they're supposed to have? What are we going to do about that? So I've given you all the information, Doc, there, and it will be some interesting reading on that. But I know you have some words about the Federation of the West Indies yourself.
It's very interesting, but one of the interesting points is that the Federation oversight didn't actually was not attached to us unless the commissioner wanted it.
Wanted it, yes.
And that meant unless our vestry wanted it.
Uh-huh. So from then they were giving us our autonomy, and look at where we are now. We're back in the UK in 2018, right? Yes. 60 years later, we're asking for constitutional changes, and we're asking for some of the things that we could have gotten in 1958.
Yes, but and it's a pity that the West Indies Federation failed because of the personalities that were involved. Grantley Adams, Sir Alexander Bustamante, Norman Manley, Coombs, people like Dr. Eric Williams, and all of those people. And I've heard it said that one of the reasons why the Federation failed was because Norman Manley did not want Bustamante to ascend to the power in the federal parliament. And therefore, that's the reason why he called his bluff in the referendum. Yes. And as a result of that, the different personalities, especially from Jamaica, were the people who were responsible for the federal government to having failed. And you notice that Norman Manley did not ever became Prime Minister of Jamaica.
Yes.
Although they say he's the father of the modern Jamaica, but he never became Prime Minister. And the problem that I see already is that when you look at the federal government of the federal state of Australia and Canada, you will see how strong those provinces are with one federal government. And it's a pity that we didn't stick together to have a great federal nation in the Caribbean. And as a result of that, now there's all this problem with the CCJ. Because at the time, the federal state, there was an inclusion also for a Supreme Court that would have surpassed and take over from the Privy Council, but that didn't materialize either. And so now we're back where we are, squabbling, trying to find our way, in this global world. But it's very interesting to see what they say, that we were economically independent from in the 50s and 40s. We were economically independent, and that we were not grant aided by England.
Yep.
And I don't think we have ever been.
That's true.
We have never been grant aided by them except for some things that they helped us with.
Right, capital projects mainly.
Projects.
Okay, let's take a commercial break. When we return, the conversation with Dr. Steve McField will continue. Please stay tuned, and of course we welcome you to call in if you have any questions, observations as well.
It is amazing to see my daughter grow up and make a difference in the world, but it is also completely terrifying to worry about her when she goes out with her friends. It is my job as a father to make sure she makes smart decisions and is safe as a young woman. So, when my daughter needs quality care, I take her to CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of the careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
CUC advises customers in West Bay between the Hell Gift Shop and Hell Road East to and including Dill Lane on Reverend Blackman Road and south on Town Hall Road to and including Billy Mandersing Drive that they will experience interruptions to their electrical service on Wednesday, December 12th between 9 a.m. and 3 p.m. Areas affected on Hell Road include Fountain Road up to and including Agua Lane, and areas affected on Town Hall Road include Billy Mandersing Drive and Sanchez Villas. Motorists are asked to drive with caution when utilizing Hell Road, Reverend Blackman Road, and Town Hall Road, as CUC will have a number of vehicles and personnel in these areas. CUC apologizes for this interruption, which is necessary to upgrade line hardware and provide our customers with safe, reliable, and efficient power. For more information on the outage and areas and streets affected, please contact CUC's customer service team at 949-5200 or email service@cuc.ky.
I am worried about my employees' health insurance. Are there any companies out there that I can rely on for great coverage, affordable payments, and who will work to make the switch as easy as possible? Or am I asking for too much?
You sound like you need Fidelity Health. At Fidelity, they offer great coverage through a highly rated and trusted carrier, payments I can afford, and with no on-island deductible on all the plans they offer. Best of all, they offered my company 50% back on the first month's premium.
This is too important. Today's the day I am switching to Fidelity Health.
Make the easy switch to Fidelity today and get 50% cash back on your first month's premium until December 31st. Call 949-7822 to make your switch now.
'Tis the season to celebrate big savings at Reflections Apparel, Footwear and Accessory Store in their brand new location with lots more parking on Shedden Road beside Mango Tree Restaurant. Ladies, you can find the perfect holiday party dress, and men have a wide selection of dress and polo shirts with blazers to match. With brands like Levi's and Dockers, Reflections will keep you stylish this holiday season from head to toe. Find great gift ideas like leather belts and wallets, perfumes and accessories, or grab a gift certificate in any denomination. Shop the new Reflections for all your Christmas needs. Extended hours are from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Thursday and 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. on Fridays and Saturdays.
System 1 loaded.
1-800-534-8255. What is on your mind when it comes to the government, independence, and the opposition? Issues that matter to you. 1-800-534-8255. Waiting to hear from you. For the Record with your host, Orrett Connors.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. In studio with me, Dr. Steve McField. We're talking a little bit about Federation of the West Indies. We're talking about the Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos Islands Bill of 1958, debated in the House of Lords and in the House of Commons in relation to separating Turks and Caicos and the Cayman Islands from Jamaica as a result of the Federation of the West Indies. I believe we have one caller, so let's go to the phone lines. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, OC, and good morning, Dr. Steve McField.
Good morning, Mr. Brian. How are you?
Not too bad. I just want to say thank you so much for the foundation of history and information that both of you gentlemen are providing this morning. But I just want to highlight something that you've already done, but just so the public could focus in on it. You talk about the independence financially that we had back then due to the fact of our seamen and their remittances that they sent back home. So much so that we didn't even get grants. And I want us to all recognize the importance of that, because I, as a legislator now and as a representative, I've heard so many times before people talk about the politicking of trying to help seamen and giving them their grants. This should show this morning the importance to the development of this country through the years when nobody else was doing anything, and that our foundation is based on their hard work at sea and what they contributed to this country. And that record that you read, I hope to get a copy of it myself so I can store it. Because when the argument ever comes up about giving seamen this and giving seamen that, there shouldn't be any more questions that people ask about what they deserve for what they've done for the Cayman Islands. So that being said, thank you so much. These types of shows are so important, even for me as a younger generation person. I wish I could listen to the rest of the show, but I'm going to a meeting. But thank you so much for this, and Dr. Steve McField and OC, keep up the great work on the show.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brian. Thank you very much, for that as well. Yeah, I mean, we I don't want this to sound in a way that I'm seeking to separate the two, but we do homage and give such recognition and well-deserved recognition to our war veterans and, what they have done for the cause of democracy and everything else. And I don't think that our seamen should be afforded any or accorded any less than what is done for others because of what they have done for the Cayman Islands in terms of it. I mean, I went out there and I sent my little $90 a month, came home. I sent it home, whatever I made on overtime, mucking the tanks on the oil tanker that I was on. I may have used that to spend when you go ashore and
Yes,
do
that's right.
your little frolicking and
Yes,
stuff
yes,
like that.
yes, yes.
But other than that, I sent my little, $9 or $100 a month home as well. Dr. McFeel, I was telling you earlier before we went back on here, I see the in the debate in the House of Lords a reference to a gentleman by the Earl of Lucan,
Yes.
the Lord of Lucan. This was in 1958. Now, it might have been in the 70s or something like that. There was a big scandal in the UK where Lord Lucan had reportedly killed his wife.
No, he killed the
maid,
helper.
yes, that he was supposedly having an affair with,
yes.
or something like that, and disappeared. And it's thought to be somewhere over in the Far East or something like that. Would this have been that Lord Lucan, or this would have been his son after in the 70s?
It would have been probably him or his father.
Yeah,
the Lord Lucan of the 70s or his father, but it wouldn't have been his son, because I was in 58. And his son would never have been the Lord unless Lord Lucan had died or abdicated the position. So it would have been the Lord Lucan of who killed his mistress in 1975. It probably was him. He disappeared. They never found him. I remember that was the big thing when I went to England in 1975 to read for the bar.
Yes.
The big stories of him, the sightings of him, but they never found him, and they said that he probably was protected by the lodge in England. They never found him. He disappeared, and the last place they traced him, they said he took the ferry and went to Europe, and after Europe he disappeared from the face of the earth.
Yeah. Interesting, very interesting. We have about 5 minutes before we go to break.
Another thing, Orrett, is from your discovery there, from your research. You notice that those two bills, the House of the Turks and Caicos Island bill, and the debate in the House of Commons, they were preparing to give us the Constitution of 1959. You notice that we had no say actually in the drafting of the Constitution. I know that during this period, that Cayman Islands representatives went to United Kingdom. Mr. Orrett Connors and Mr. Willa Farrington and some other people went up there to United Kingdom. And then the Constitution came in 1959.
Yes.
And of course, I think it was the 3rd of July was the last day of the vestry the last day of the vestry and the justices.
Justices, yes.
But you notice that it didn't have to be approved by referendum.
Right. Yes.
You notice that?
Yes. That's true.
And you see how much autonomy that we have developed now. That for their constitution now, 2009, we had to accept it as being what we wanted. And that is something that's outstanding in my mind, and to this new discovery that you made.
Yeah. I want to share a little bit more. Now, the Undersecretary of State for the Colonies at that time was a gentleman by the name of John Profumo.
That's the Profumo affair. You remember him?
Oh, no. Tell me about that.
Well, he was. I think he was said to be frolicking with a woman who was a spy, Russian spy.
Okay.
And he actually brought the government down, and it's called the Profumo affair. So one of these days you should Google that.
I will definitely.
Yeah. And in fact, it was a big scandal in England. Profumo, he was a very flamboyant minister.
Okay,
yes.
So in his introduction in the House of Commons, he again also gives an overview of the Cayman Islands, and then he goes on to say their prosperity derives from their position on some important air routes in the Caribbean, from the money sent home by their highly competent seamen, and from the developing tourist industry. They also fish for turtle, which is their symbol, and honorable members who like turtle soup probably owe their pleasure in part to the skill of the Caymanian fishermen. And then he goes on to talk about the Turks and Caicos. And then he asks the question, why is this bill necessary at this particular juncture? So this is in the House of Commons now. It says the matter is complicated by the fact that the position of the two dependencies is not in law exactly similar. And you heard me mention that before, that that Turks and Caicos was annexed. And all that. It says the Cayman Islands are administered by a commissioner selected by the Secretary of State and appointed by the Governor of Jamaica. The legislature consists of the commissioner, who is president, a number of justices of the peace appointed by the governor, and 27 elected vestrymen. Says under the Cayman Islands Act 1863, the governor of Jamaica has, as far as may be, the same powers and authorities in respect of the Cayman Islands as if they had been part of the island of Jamaica. The legislature of Jamaica may make laws for the peace, order, and good government of the Cayman Islands. And then he goes on to talk about the Turks and Caicos. And it says the governor and legislature of Jamaica have respectively the same jurisdiction, powers, and authority over the Turks and Caicos as they have over the island of Jamaica. But neither the Cayman Islands Act 1863 nor the Turks and Caicos Order in Council of 1873 empowers Her Majesty in Council to constitute a government and legislature other than the government and legislature of Jamaica. For each of the groups of islands, it is this power that the present bill seeks to confer. So at that time, the United Kingdom government, Her Majesty in Council, did not have the power to constitute a government and legislature for the Cayman Islands and the Turks and Caicos, because it was all done through Jamaica.
You're correct, and that is the reason why in 1962 we have the West Indies Act that Parliament gave Her Majesty that power to constitute a government in those countries.
With that, we'll take a break. When we return, the conversation will continue with Dr. Steve Macfield, so please stay tuned.
So you made Santa's list this year? What do you want for Christmas?
All I want for Christmas is a new car or truck or SUV. I'm not too picky.
Yeah, you're not cheap either. Just a car. You know Van Motors still has your sale, your choice going on. You can save thousands on purchase price, extend warranty or service, upgrade to a sports package, or give your savings to someone else.
You mean you're gonna save when you buy that car for me? My gift to you is letting you use $1,000 you save for yourself.
Your sale, your choice at Vamped Motors. Save up to $6,000 on selected vehicles. You decide how you want to save, spend, or do both with up to $6,000. Your sale, your choice at Vamped Motors, Walkers Road.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show, or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
Kubo Restaurant and Lounge. Cayman's only Pan-Asian restaurant and lounge is now open for lunch.
Taste the traditional flavors of Asian cuisine fused with your modern flair in Kubo's new sushi menu. With lunch delivery from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. Monday through Friday, you can bring the Asian fusion flavors of Kubo and your sushi platter to your office today. Kubo Restaurant and Lounge is located in the Strand next to the eatery and below Lily's nightclub.
Now open for lunch. That's right, now open for lunch with a new sushi menu and delivery. Visit kubo.ky. That's KUBOH.KY or call 947-4513 to place your order.
You have to save the date. Thursday, December 13, Super Stitch Midnight Madness Sale. This is the biggest sale of the year, with savings up to 50% off. Come and get your dress and suit in fabric, upholstery fabric, sheets, bed skirts, throw covers, sofa covers, towels, curtains, and much more. Sale begins at 6 p.m. until midnight on Thursday, December 13. It's big, it's fantastic, it's 6 hours of pure madness. The Midnight Madness Sale, 6 p.m. until midnight at Super Stitch, 39 Pasadena Place, Smith Road. Call 949-2833.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connors. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. It's my pleasure to have in the studio with me none other than Dr. Steve McField. And I know that we talked about the fact that we want to talk about, take a look at 2018, and we want to look forward to 2019 to see what we can anticipate taking place. But right now we're discussing a few things that have intrigued me, and just want to read one more paragraph from the debate in the House of Commons. It says the constitutional developments which are contemplated in the Cayman Islands and the Turks and Caicos Islands are a consequence of the constitutional advance now taking place in the British West Indies, which has, I know, the support and good wishes of all in this House. This goes on to say Jamaica last November advanced practically to the stage of complete internal self-government within the Federation of the West Indies. The Federation was inaugurated at the beginning of this month. That would have been in 1958. And these islands are part of the Federation, although their relationship to the federal government is a subject of special arrangement. Now, again, off there, Dr. Mark, we were talking about this, and these are things that we need to be taught in our schools if they're not already taught. I know I didn't learn them when I was in high school, and people may say, "Well, you're learning it now, so what are you complaining about?" I didn't have the opportunity to learn these things then because they weren't necessarily taught in our schools. Now, you were at the ceremony that they had for Mr. Roy Borden at the University College of the Cayman Islands, and you heard the declaration made by the Honourable Minister Juliana O'Connelly, and we welcome what you said there in terms of tapping in on the resources of Mr. Roy Borden to help to develop a curriculum and to ensure that these things are taught in the schools, whether through the development of textbooks or whatever. And certainly would welcome that. What do you have to say about that?
Well, it was something I never expected to hear. I was stunned. Even driving home, I was stunned. When I got home, I told she asked me what happened. I told her almost verbatim of what the Honourable Minister for Education said. And when Roy said, when they said that he was going to retire and go to his look after his farm and spend some time researching and writing his books, and she says, "Well, I got news for you." She says, "I would suggest that you go home, drink some sorrel, eat some turtle meat and some old Cayman style Christmas beef. Spend a month with your wife because you're going to get the call from me to come back."
Yes.
And she outlined the things she wants him to do, and like you said, she wants him to oversee a national curriculum and history, and to write books, the history of the Cayman Islands, and as she said, not Googled by somebody from outside.
Yes.
But someone who knows how the history unfolded and so forth. I was so happy, and Roy's so happy about it because he said he was expecting to go home and to look after his cattle and to start researching to write some more books. And now he's coming back, and I think that's the best. And you got to give her credit.
Yes,
the way she handled herself. And she said, "By the way, I have bought a new property to enhance the people in the Cayman Brac, their relationship with the UCCI, and she said I will be making that announcement in a couple of weeks. But you can write that into the newspaper. You can write that.
Yes. And she looked at the news person that was there. Yes.
That's going to be incredible. That's going to be incredible. Where for the first time after all of these years, we're going to have our own people writing our own textbooks and putting them in the library and in the schools. And in the 1960s and 70s, Canada went through the same thing. They woke up one day. There was a couple called Carrie Law, or was it? I can't remember their name now, but they wrote a book called Silent Surrender. And Silent Surrender. And when they discovered that in Canada, 90% of the textbooks and over nearly 90% of all the contents on the radio and television were American. And when Trudeau came into power, he gave the intellectuals in Canada the positions to write textbooks for Canadian colleges and Canadian universities. And as a result, that we have some great Canadian authors that came out of that.
Okay. Now, Doc, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and it seems as if, depending on who you talk to, and I speaking to a friend of mine this week, I believe it was, this week, and he was talking about the economic activity in the Cayman Islands. He said, I'd never seen it like this before. It is really, really, things are happening. He said, I can't keep up with it. And I said to him, well, I hope you take advantage of it. And now, because things will change. It's everything is cyclical, at the end of the day. So it seems as if, we maybe, I'll use the term drowning in cash in the Cayman Islands these days. Everyone seems, no, I shouldn't say everyone. Some people seem to be doing extremely, extremely well.
Yes.
From a financial standpoint, I need to make that point, from a financial standpoint. Yeah. What do you see missing? What in 2018, what are some of the things that you see that are lacking? I know you talk about the Constitution, you talk about the standards in public life, ensuring that law comes into being. You talk about the establishment of advisory district councils, from the political side of things. You're in the legal fraternity. You may want to reflect on some of the things that you see happening there, 2018, what you look forward in 2019. We have about 5 minutes before we go to the break, so I'll get you started up on that, and then we'll continue after the
one of the things that's missing, Orrett, and I have been speaking about this for quite a long time, is a national vision of what the Caymanian people want and how they are going to get there. It's okay for having all the money coming in, but if the money is coming in and it's not spent right, that is that people are not. Some people are benefiting and some people are not benefiting. And what the Caymanian and the vision should not be the political viability of the candidates. It should be for the Caymanian people as a whole. I see it as a great benefit. The new money coming in, and Orrett, I can tell you, I can sit here and I can tell you there are some powerful economic people coming in and residing in this island today. They're bringing their money, and they're bringing the money from places that are not considered socially safe. They think Cayman is the safest place right now to be and to live, and to walk freely on the streets and to sleep at night. And they are willing and enticed to put their money in where their mouth is in Cayman Islands, and we should get the benefit of that. But it must not be just for one set of people. Yes. And that's the problem that I find. And
it has to be more than a trickle down effect. It should flow, not trickle.
It should flow. And the problem with us is all the advantages that we've had. You heard what the minister said in the House of Lords and in Parliament. We have not come together as a group, as a people, like other nationalities and other people have done. Now, you've been in America, and you see how the Jews got together, and the Italian families got together, and all those people got together when they came to this new country to survive.
And we see people doing it here now who have come here and now doing the same thing here.
We have not done that. And that's what we have to do. We have to find a way where we can come together as a people and enjoy all of the new prosperity that's coming in. Because let me tell you, Orrett, I have never seen such a boom in the whole time that I have been in Cayman. I spoke to a friend the other day, and he was surprised after being away for several years that the activity that's going on here, and it's good because we have earned it. We have earned the right to have it, but then it must not be trickled down. Everybody should have the right to have a benefit from it. And that can only be by a national vision of where we are going and what the people want and how to get it, and to make sure that we cover all the bases. Because one thing that I see is that, and you know this, Orrett, from your experience in North America, in the greatest democracy in the world, with prosperity also comes social unrest if it's not done properly. If it's not done properly, and that's what we have to do.
Okay, we reached the 9 o'clock hour. Doc, when we come back, I want you to get your view on the economic substance legislation that is being introduced here in the Cayman Islands, introduced in Turks and Caicos, I believe, British Virgin Islands and Bermuda as well, and the debate that is taking place there, and what the likely effect of it will be here in the Cayman Islands as well. Folks, please stay tuned for the record. We'll be back immediately after the 9 o'clock news.
Satisfaction is guaranteed 24 hours a day, whether it's music or information.
From Grand Cayman to Cayman Brac to Little Cayman, we've got you covered.
You ever hear a thing like that?
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
Radio Cayman. Headline. Radio Cayman's newsroom. Headline. These are the biggest stories right now.
2 young Caymanians have snagged spots in a new internship program with administration firm Maitland. Daniel Spence and Rabia McField began their specialized training in November as middle office specialists through an initiative with the National Workforce Development Agency. UK Prime Minister Theresa May faces a vote of confidence in her leadership later after 48 of her Conservative MPs called for one to be held. But a defiant Mrs. May vowed to contest the vote, quote, with everything I've got. She warned that her new Prime Minister would be faced with the choice of delaying or even stopping Brexit. A majority of Tory MPs have publicly said they will back the PM in the vote, which runs for 2 hours from 1 p.m. Cayman time, but it is a secret ballot. Police investigating a deadly shooting in a cathedral in a Brazilian city have identified the gunman. He opened fire in a metropolitan cathedral after midday mass on Tuesday. 4 people were killed and 4 more injured when the 49-year-old turned the gun on himself after being shot by police. Officers said the systems analyst had no criminal record and, quote, no motive except for his own madness. Those are your headlines. I'm Carsley Fuller.
Radio Cayman, the voice of the Cayman Islands. What's happening in your community? News and information, music and more. You can find us. www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. Radio Cayman is your choice, your voice for today's biggest news. Radio Cayman.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record with Orrett Connors. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. My pleasure to have in the studio with me none other than Dr. Steve McField. One listener has sent in a photograph and some comments in relation to garbage left on Cherry Avenue Park. And it says here a fence was put up inside the gate about 6 months ago. Now the truck cannot get in to pick it up. This is a Cumber Avenue Park. So if anyone from Department of Environmental Health is listening, you may want to have your drivers check the Cumber Avenue Park. But my question would be also, if the fence has been put up, would it make sense then to put the garbage over the fence since the truck can't get in, and maybe they can pick it up then? I think that may assist as well, but be that as it may, it's now in not over the fence, but in the back of the fence. Truck can't get in. DEH, Cumber Avenue Park, if you're listening, someone call DEH, tell them to address the issue. Lots of garbage there. Now, it's well bagged and everything. It looked like there may be some white goods as well. When I say white goods, it looks like it might be either desk or a stove or a refrigerator or something like that there also. So you want to get that all cleared up not just for the holidays. We have to stay clean all of the time, not just for the holidays. Dr. Mark Field, economic substance, the bill, the
That's
implications.
a new thing, Orrett. That is something new.
Now, in the I read an article in Bermuda, and they felt that it may be a plus, a positive, to the extent that what they have found now is that with these new OECD initiatives that are coming forward, that people do not necessarily pick up their monies and their investment and go to another jurisdiction or take it back to the jurisdiction that wants to impose taxes on it and everything. Basically, what they do is they comply with whatever the legislation says. If it means that they have to spend a little bit more, but they comply and they stay where they are. Now, I'm looking at the riots taking place in France. And remember now, most of this is being pushed by all of these initiatives to bring money back and stuff like that into the jurisdiction are all being done in the European Union because of the welfare states that they have and their need to keep getting money in for politicians to spend it and not necessarily spend it in the proper way. So you can understand sometimes why people who are rich, filthy rich, don't want the governments to get their hands on their money, because if they were putting it for productive and useful purposes, then that would be fine. But many times they're spending. Look at the budget, for the European Parliament and everything. They're just spending money left, right, and center.
That's right. And Orrett, it's very interesting what you just said, that rich people behavior has suggested that they do not want to take their money back to where they brought it from. Mm-hmm. Well, if the exempting companies have to have presidents in Cayman, there are one of three things, or all three things that will have to happen. Okay. Number one, the immigration, the population will grow because when they say they have to have presidents, it means that they have to have more staff.
Yes,
and you remember, Orrett, that the British have been always reminding us that we gave you control over your own immigration. They have been telling us that a long time ago. So the next thing is that's going to bring the increase in population, and those people who had suggested about 100,000,
they may get what they want.
They might get what they want. They might get what they want. And the third thing is that, alternatively, they will move to go to some other jurisdiction. And like you said, the historical trend is that they don't do that. So we're left with the latter two, with the former two.
Yeah.
More people to staff those offices, more money coming into the country. But the overall problem that I see, Orrett, is more money has produced sometimes in poor countries regressive thinking and aggressive behavior. And that's what we don't want in Cayman. What we want, Orrett, is predictable results of this bill, not unpredictable results of this bill. And so what we should be doing now, we should be getting people together, and we should be deciding how we are going to deal with a new influx of people. They will have to come in to staff these offices because we do not have the people to do that. Because you can't staff these offices with Filipino maids and Jamaican handymen and people like that. Yeah. They're going to have to be people who understand finance.
Yes. So you won't just be able to pluck a body and put it in and say,
No.
no, we have someone in there.
No.
You're going to have to show that person's competency and whatever that is needed.
Of course,
in
because
that
they're
regard.
dealing with people's money.
Yeah, and it will be monitored. And they will be monitored as well. We have one caller, Doc. Let's grab that caller. Caller, good morning. Welcome to For the Record.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning. I have time. That's fine. Thank you. Good to hear you here. And good morning to you, Dr. Steve. I have some information between both of you. I hate to ever disagree with Dr. Steve on an issue, but I do with the Federation of the West Indies. I'm glad it failed. What you did say was the power players and all that. We know that. And three of the giants were Mr. Bustamante, Mr. Manley, and Mr. Grante and Doc. But one thing with the three is that two were highly educated. Mr. Manley couldn't get any better lawyer than that. No one throughout the world, barrister. And then Adams, they're educated man as well. And then, but Mr. Bustamante, not educated at all. But remember what Lyndon B. Johnson said. The greatest politician the Western world has ever seen. And he proved that. He could be a man of the little man, which he did by starting the trade unions. And the whole thing started from the riots and Rome riots, 1938. The Manley formed this party in 38, and then Mr. Bustamante in 39, but they both formed the union. So the people weren't even being paid, some of them, and that's why they rioted, and some were short paid, and some went to get jobs and couldn't get them, and so forth. But it started from that. But Mr. Bustamante, with his brilliance as a politician, he could defend the little man, and at the same time, he was backed by the most powerful companies. I can tell you this for a fact, because I work for all those companies, and the rich in Jamaica. So he had that delicate balance that neither of the other two possessed, I don't believe. But the one thing that kept the West Indies together over the years, as we know, is cricket. Let's face that fact. That was the glue. Now it's fallen apart totally. We're just what you call a punching bag for every team. And anyhow, what Jamaica was against it anyhow from the beginning, the vast majority of Jamaicans, because Jamaica had way over half the population of the whole rest of the Caribbean countries, the West Indies Federation countries, yet they had much less than half the representation, and their 1957 movement, what they did making the governor's powers there ceremonial with the ministerial council, how they set it up, the ministerial system, replacing the executive council thing, that their constitution gave them much more autonomy than the federal constitution. So it was a no-win thing for Jamaica from the start, and Mr. Manley pulled out. They had the arm. And neither, those three, of course, you're right, none of them could be subservient to the other like a deputy or assistant or vice president of the whole federation or whatever it would be. They would each have to be either the leader or what. Yes, that's right. But it wasn't a choice that the majority of Jamaicans wanted. And then Mr. Manley held that referendum in, I think it was 61, November or September. The majority voted against it. And
Sir,
so they came out
54%.
Yeah. I will prepare.
Yes, sir.
The government will now be prepared for independence.
Sir, just let me tell you, have you read Sir Desmond Heap's memoirs?
No,
Sir Desmond Heap was a leader. Sir Desmond Heap was a minister and a leader of government business in the House of Commons in 1938, and he went down to Jamaica, and he was the one who helped them to form the party. When he went down to Jamaica, the Manley's crowd, including Ken Hale and his brother Frank Hale, and all of those people who were fighting for independence for Jamaica, went to see him, and he advised them. It was his advice that they formed the political party, and he spoke to both leaders. He spoke to Manley and he spoke to Buster. And if you read his memoirs, he said that Buster was very shallow and he did not have any vision for Jamaica. He was only interested in getting more factories and getting more people working because he was a usurer. And he was only looking out for his own personal aggrandizement and making more money off the poor. Manley had the better vision for education, health, social uplifting, and so forth. Bustamante said was very shallow, and that's the reason why he didn't went with Bustamante. He went with Manley and the people who Manley had surrounded himself with. Some of those people were the 4-H's, Ken Hill, Frank Hill, and the other Hills. And if you read Sir Desmond Heap's memoirs, I think what you should do, you should get it and read it, because it sets out the whole history behind the party system in Jamaica and the reasons why Sir Desmond Heap advised them to form the PNP.
Okay, caller, you still there?
I understand that, but what I'm saying is this: that is his opinion, also, Dr. C.
That's history.
But the thing, yes, it's his opinion, but what we got to realize is, as a usurer, we know that, and many others were. Many of those people shifted and went over to the Labour Party also, because I knew them personally in much later years, of course. But the issue is this, that both of them, I think, were thinking of independence. And there's a lot of things said about Mr. Bustamante that people didn't understand. And also Mr. Manley also. So, it works both ways and it'll forever be so. I remember the John Perfuma thing and all that. I remember that very well. I was a young boy, I remember it. And the scandal with it, I think it actually went to some sort of a trial at one time.
They had brought the government down too.
Yes, brought the government down. But there are a lot of books written by great Jamaican sociologists and historians and all that too on the subject here. And it's interesting that we're having this conversation, but one thing we've got to remember is this, that Jamaica, the generational Jamaicans by far were the majority when they went independent, 62, and they still are. In Cayman, it's a very, very different situation. At the time we're talking about, we were in the majority by far in Cayman.
Mm-hmm. Caller? I'm going to ask you to leave us there. We have to take a break now. Folks, please stay tuned. For the record, we'll be back shortly.
Kirk Home Center is your holiday season headquarters. From tabletop to 7-foot-tall Christmas trees, tree skirts, rugs, garland, and wreaths, to traditional lights and icicle lights for indoor and outdoor use, and LED outdoor scenic spotlights. Ornaments like shatterproof balls and treetop stars, and holiday accent pieces like candles, diffusers, and nativity sets, tablecloths, glasses, mugs, and more. Get it all from Kirk Home Center, your holiday season headquarters.
My dad is the best. He was always there to protect me and guide me to be a better person. He helped shape me into the woman I am today. But I was never prepared for the day that I had to take care of him. It was terrifying and a total role reversal. But I will always be there for him like he was for me. When it comes to his medical care, I always go where he did. West Bay Pharmacy.
CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy understands the importance of the careful decisions you make every day for your family. Our staff work towards healthcare excellence and providing the most current and up-to-date training with pharmaceutical care, so you can feel confident in knowing that your family is safe with the right medication. At CTMH Doctors Hospital Pharmacy, we take care of your health.
A trip to New York City is the experience of a lifetime. Starting this December, Cayman Airways will be offering daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman to New York City. That's right, Cayman Airways is going daily to New York City starting this December. Stroll through Central Park or take in the bright lights of Times Square, enjoy a Broadway show or visit museums, the Empire State Building, and so much more. Whether you're visiting for business or pleasure, you'll fall in love with New York City. And daily non-stop flights from Grand Cayman aboard Cayman Airways starting this December. For details and to book, call Cayman Airways reservations at 949-2311. Contact a travel agent or visit CaymanAirways.com.
So you made Santa's list this year? What do you want for Christmas?
All I want for Christmas is a new car or truck or SUV and a too-picky.
Yeah, you're not cheap either. Just a car. You know Van Motors still has your sale, your choice going on. You can save thousands on purchase price, extend warranty or service, upgrade to a sports package, or gift your savings to someone else.
You mean you're gonna save when you buy that car for me? My gift to you is letting you use $1,000 you save for yourself.
Your sale, your choice at Vamped Motors. Save up to $6,000 on selected vehicles. You decide how you want to save, spend, or do both with up to $6,000. Your sale, your choice at Vamped Motors, Walker's Road.
For years, we have been promised prosperity on the heels of rapid development.
However, last year, over 2,000 Caymanian families
required the services of the Needs Assessment Unit.
Now, we are faced with the largest capital project in our history.
At the risk of destroying what attracts people to our shores.
The government's Destination Performance Report states that annually
1.8 million cruise visitors contributed
$154 million in revenue,
whereas
450,000 stayover visitors contribute $497 million.
$497 million.
It is time for a national development plan.
It is time for a national development plan.
And better decision making.
That takes into account our human, financial, and ecological resources.
Where we will no longer be driven like a boat without a rudder.
We don't need handouts from cruise lines.
Get your answers.
Sign the petition.
Sign the petition. Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
Support the referendum.
And let's build our future together.
Together.
Initiating system.
For information that matters. For the record, with Orrett Connors. Continues right now on Radio Cayman.
Good morning and welcome back to For the Record. Before I go back to Dr. Steve Macfield, I just want to cover this thing on the Cumber Avenue Park. A person says, I have requested a bin to be put in the park because the avenue accumulates many heavy leaves falling in the roadside, and people just pick them up and put them in the park. It says the fence was put up. The fence that was put up is blocking the entrance, and persons who clean the park are furious that they have to trim and clean the park, bringing out large bags manually to the roadside, as well. So again, we hope someone is listening. We urge them to help the people in Cumber Avenue. Let's get the situation sorted out with the park and the accumulation of refuse that is there, including the leaves and other things. Dr. Macfield, go back to the Federation of the West Indies, and of course, they had a flag, they had their own coat of arms, and the motto on the coat of arms. And there are people who assign various reasons for the failure of the Federation of the West Indies. The main one was that the bigger countries, couldn't agree, and it's all about one-upmanship and everything, and but their motto, to dwell together in unity. To me, nice sounding, but totally unrealistic for islands that are spread all over the Caribbean Sea. Totally unrealistic. So it didn't seem as if they were even so optimistic in terms of the motto that they use. But we've discovered some other interesting things as well. As far as the federal government was concerned, and the assignment of ministers, and top heavy with male legislators, but we did have one female, huh?
There was one female, and her name was Mrs. Phyllis Byam Shan Alfrey, and she was the Minister of Labour. But she was from
Labour and Social. Was it Social Development too?
And she was Minister of Labour and Social and Social Affairs. And Social Affairs.
And she was from where?
And let me see where she's from.
Dominica, I believe.
Oh, miss.
If you scroll over to the right.
So over to the right. Let me see now. The Minister of Natural Resources and Social Affairs. She was from Dominica.
Yeah, Dominica.
Dominica. Now,
so one woman out of how many men?
And you got me there, because I had been thinking all along, all of these years, that it was Madame Rose Leon from Jamaica.
Okay.
But now I know that Jamaica, although the caller who spoke to us, who called just a while ago talking about the size of Jamaica had the same amount of ministers, the same amount of people and the ministers in the Federation as everybody else. For instance, the Prime Minister was the Honourable Grantley Adams, and his deputy was Carl Donald from St. Lucia, and the Minister of Finance was Richard Llewellyn Bradshaw, and he was from St. Christopher and Anguilla. And Minister of Communication and Works was Andrew Rose, and he was from Trinidad and Tobago. And the Minister of Natural Resources and Agriculture was Ricketts from Jamaica. And the Minister of Labour and Affairs was the woman I just spoke to.
Mm-hmm.
And Minister with our portfolio was Honourable Noble Hamilton Richards. And the Minister with our portfolio was Victor Vaughan from Barbados.
Mm-hmm.
And the Minister with our portfolio was Senator the Honourable Alan George Richards Byfield from Jamaica. And the Minister with our portfolio, Senator the Honourable James Luke Charles from St. Lucia. And the Parliamentary Secretary in the Ministry of Finance was Senator James Whitford Libord from St. Christopher and Nevis. And the Cabinet Secretary was Albert Phillips, and he was from Christopher and Nevis also. And each of the countries had 2 senators,
Mm-hmm.
except for Montserrat that had one.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 19 senators in the federal government, and there were 45 representatives. It's very interesting. Jamaica and Cayman Islands and Turks and Caicos had 17 representatives altogether. And the other island that had the large amount of representatives was Trinidad and Tobago that had 10. And each other country had 2 representatives. 2 from Barbados, 2 from Dominica, 2 from Grenada, 2 from Montserrat, 1 from Montserrat, St. Christopher and Nevis, 2 St. Lucia, 2 St. Vincent and Grenadines, 2. And therefore, that was the federal government.
Mm-hmm. And the seat of government was supposed to be Chaguaramas.
Chaguaramas,
but
yeah.
apparently there was a U.S. naval base that was still there. And one of the other jurisdictions that was proposed as well, there was a naval base. Now, there was an agreement between the United Kingdom, because of course they were the colonial power, and the United States to have those bases established there, and they would not agree for those bases to be relinquished for seat of government to be there. So I think Port of Spain ended up being the de facto seat. The de facto capital as opposed to Chaguaramas.
Yes, and it's very interesting here in your note here that you found. It says here that the WILP won the election, winning 26 seats,
Mm-hmm.
while the DLP carried 19 seats. Those were the 2 parties. The bulk of the WILF seats came from the smaller islands, while the DLP carried the majority in Jamaica.
And I think the DLP was the Democratic Labour Party.
Since neither Manley nor Bustamante had contested the federal elections.
Mm-hmm.
Neither one of them, that's the reason why neither of them had a seat in the federal government parliament, because neither of them contested. They were against it.
Yeah. And then you basically where they were going to go, because they were going to go off to the UK to to negotiate for a new constitution and for independence.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very interesting. We have about 5 minutes left, Doc. I want you to talk about 2019 and your outlook for 2019. I'm one who always subscribe to and believe that the glass is always half full rather than being half empty. So I always have an optimistic view of things. What are your views for 2019?
All right, I would like us not to continue in the name of free enterprise and fictitious jobs and opportunities for Caymanians continue the way we are doing,
Mm-hmm.
because that is not working. You've seen in the justice system how many judges that we have to that we appointed. So we appointed three part-time judges from the UK.
Mm-hmm. Those are judges of the Grand Court, right?
Yeah, and we appointed Honourable
Cheryl Richards.
Cheryl Richards as the Grand Court Judge, which is one of the greatest appointments that we could have done in the Cayman.
Okay, I'm glad you like that one.
Yes, that is. She's a great lawyer, and as I've said on other occasions, there are 3 kinds of lawyers who gets to sit on the bench. There are the great lawyers who make law every day in court with their arguments and how their cases turn out.
Mm-hmm.
there's the academic, the ones who teach at university, and there's the lawyers who can't make it in either the academic circles or into the private sector, and so they lobby to get a job on the bench so that they can make a living. So Mrs. Richards is not one of them or one of the academic. She's a great lawyer, and I was so happy with the appointment to see that we have a permanent judge now in the criminal side of the court now. That's going to be there for some time.
And I see here in the today's headline in the Compass, new court to fast track domestic violence cases.
Yes,
what are your views on that?
Well, you see, that has arisen in our country, in our society, because there's so many different actions and reactions that are happening in our country that we don't have any consensus of a social norm. We have to set a social norm, and that say this is the social norm, and we are not going to adopt anything less than that. That's a problem that we have, and a lot of that is coming from the different people who come to the country, and our changing way of life, because we were never that kind of people where we went to somebody else for a handout, or where we didn't take care of our family. Our family and our children was first and foremost. That is breaking down, and that is breaking down now because that's what money does. Money makes people alienated from each other and their families and their friends, and that's what we have to do. We have to get back to some sort of semblance where we are a society. And the one thing that we must not allow people to do with us in this country is to abandon our Christian heritage. I don't care what people say about there's no God, all this stuff and things like that. It's a belief. It is something that comes in. It comes from inside. It is something that gives you peace and tranquility, and it's something that makes you a better person to believe in a higher being. And we must not ever allow people to do that to us. If we can combine all those things with good stewardship in our political system, I think 2019 is going to be a great year for us. And we ought to have education of our people as a priority, like you said. That has to be a priority on all levels. Even people who wants to come back to school, even people who haven't started school yet, that should be a priority on all levels. And it doesn't matter what it's going to cost us, because in the end, it's going to cost us peace and tranquility in our country. Less crime, less violence, and less money to keep people locked up away from their family and their friends and away from the society.
If you get an opportunity, and I know you do read the Royal Gazette as well, I think it was yesterday's paper, take a read of a judgment that was made that the persons, belongers in Bermuda can now represent Bermuda in international events like sporting events and things of that nature there, and had to do with the interpretation of their constitution, because the Bermuda Constitution defines and recognizes, those persons who are belongers, those persons who are permanent residents, those persons who possess Bermudan status. The various distinctions they have in there. People have said that we in our constitution have never defined who a Caymanian or who is a Caymanian, and we rely on our our immigration law. So our constitution basically refers to our immigration law, but in Bermuda they had it there. So a judge, Grand Court judge, or the Supreme Court was able to go look at the Bermuda Constitution and make a determination that persons who belong to Bermuda would be eligible, because they would hold a Bermudan passport but not necessarily possess Bermudan status.
Similar to what we have here now.
So when you get a chance, read that. I just want to read one more comment that we have here. Where is it? today. Oh, okay, the person just says, God bless Dr. Steve Macfield, and we ask him to bless him. We certainly echo your sentiments there, and we're asking the good Lord to keep him with us as long as he possibly can, so that he can continue to impart the knowledge that he has in his head to us, his experiences and stuff like that. And I need you to do what P.J. Patterson has done. And I want to remind you all out there again, when you get an opportunity, when the book comes on the shelf, P.J. Patterson, My Political Journey, the sixth Prime Minister of Jamaica, published by the West Indies, University of the West Indies Press. When it comes out, read that. Dr. Macfield, I want you to write your memoirs as well.
I'm going to ask you this today. I would like us to cooperate and on a book on public administration.
Okay.
Because I think you spent a long time in government and how it works. I think it would be a good thing if we did that.
Certainly.
On the history of public administration in the Cayman Islands.
Certainly. And we can get Dr. Mr. Roy Borden to collaborate with us on that as well. Yeah, that would be good. That would be good because he has so much.
If we can do that for next 2019.
Yeah. Let's work towards that.
History of public administration in the Cayman Islands, how it started, how it worked, and how it's applied today.
Okay, great. Folks, I want to thank you for allowing Radio Cayman and by extension For the Record into your homes, into your vehicles as you traverse the busy roads of the Cayman Islands, into your places of work, whether it be an office cubicle or if you're working in the outdoors. I want to thank Dr. Steve Macfield for being on the show as well, for all of those times when he has called in, on For the Record as well, to share his experiences, to share his knowledge with us as well. I also want to remind you that we are our brothers and our sisters' keepers. There is always someone out there who's less fortunate than we are, and I ask you to extend a helping hand to them. If you can't do that, then I suggest you donate to a worthy charity, because we always want to consider those who need, not necessarily those who want or even those who crave. I say to you, have a great day. Continue to support your radio station. Join Sterling, Dwayne, Ebanks at 12:15 for Talk Today. And as usual, we ask the good Lord to bless these three beautiful, wonderful Cayman Islands.
For the Record is brought to you by Fidelity Bank. For all your banking and pension needs, call or visit a Fidelity branch today. Vamped Motors, the only authorized Ford and Toyota dealerships serving the Cayman Islands. And Cayman Pharmacy Group, with locations in West Base and professional pharmacy at CTMH Doctors Hospital. The Cayman Pharmacy Group has a location for you just around the corner. And Seaboard Marine. With over 35 shipping ports, find your shipping solution by calling Seaboard Marine at 949-4977.